All right, it's time for another candidate spotlight with the Vindicator, and today we're talking to Liberty County Commissioner Precinct 4 candidate Brant Elliott, who is one of 3 candidates running in that race. You're appearing in what spot on the ballot?
3. Number 3.
Spot 3 on the ballot. He will be in a race with John Hedrick and the current incumbent Joe Caloric. That race, of course, like all the races in Liberty County for local races, will be decided in the Republican Party primary. There are no contested local races. Dates of that election are March the 3rd. Tuesday, March 3rd is election day. Early voting starts February the 17th. And we will have a candidate forum for Precinct 4 commissioners all together on the same stage on Thursday, February 12th at 6 p.m. at the Dayton Community Center. So we look forward to that conversation. But in the meantime, we'll have this conversation. Brant, known you a long time. All 3 candidates in this race are all deeply tied to the Dayton community, and you know what? But there may be some. I would assume Dayton has some folks that don't recognize us anymore because we've grown a lot.
Oh,
so introduce yourself.
The growth is tremendous. I'm Brant Elliott. I'm a lifelong resident of Dayton, South Liberty County area. I'm 5th generation in Dayton, matter of fact. My family's been here a long time. Got deep roots, and with all the growth coming, I really care about it and would like to help, manage, mitigate any issues that we see coming with commissioner's position.
Right. Well, let's jump into that. I think that's an important question. It's going to be an important question, I think, for all 3 of you. You all are from Dayton. Mm-hmm. You are tied to Dayton. Some deeper than others, but I think all 3 of you, when I say deep ties, there's very deep ties with all 3 of you. What does that mean for you, and what does that mean going forward? Because Dayton is not going to be Dayton that we grew up in.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, the Dayton now is not the Dayton we grew up in, and we're seeing changes every day. Myself, I live out in 1960, and I'm 3/4 of a mile from 99. Mm-hmm. So I'm right in the heart of the growth and expansion with the developments coming in and things like that. The housing developments that are coming in, though, are really good tax-based developments. Mm-hmm. At the end of the day, as long as we're still got the property taxes going and all that stuff, it's a great base for our precinct.
Right. And you totally agree with that, and going forward, that's going to be helpful. But question on the minds of folks, especially folks who live on county roads, what about my road that's messed up right now? And what are we going to do to fix that?
100%. You hear every time that one of the commissioner candidates talk is money's limited. And that's a fact, it is. Mm-hmm. That's where us as commissioners can go start looking for grants, ARPA funds, things like that to help alleviate some of that cost and take some of the burden off the taxpayers in the county. And as we patch and repair these roads, we need to be thinking the future because traffic's going to keep increasing. Mm-hmm. Most of the roads, especially in the rural areas, weren't designed for the amount of traffic that they're taking currently. No. They were farm roads, for the most part. Basically, they were gravel roads that for years they ran maintainers over, which is really cheap to maintain. But all of a sudden they had to asphalt them, pave the roads, and they're just not designed for it. So as we go and do patch roads and fix them, we have to have in the back of our mind that we need to be fixing these for the future, for the amount of traffic that they're going to have to take.
Gone's the day of flip some dirt, throw some caliche on it, and throw some oil.
100%.
Right?
100%.
That might maintain on a side road inside of a city.
Yes.
But that's because they probably have less traffic.
Sure, and in that, concrete roads aren't practical with the cost of them. But we just have to make sure that we have a good base established under that foundation, under that road, and that we are maintaining it. You don't just build a road and forget about it. You have to go back every few years and make sure it's sealed, that you're not getting water infringement in the pavement.
What? Because and look, and that's an actual fact. The budget's limited.
Sure,
it's absolutely limited. Has been limited. Going back to as far as you can remember, right? And the growth has come, and it won't stop coming, it seems. Yeah. But so, what kind of plan would you hope to use? Well, how would you address it? Would you look to address something with a smaller limit? Okay, let's pick this,
sure,
5 miles road,
Sure, we're going to have to go and do some traffic studies on some of these roads. We're going to have to put out the bubble strips, run over them, and truly. In my mind, I think I know where we need to do a lot of these things, but I need some numbers to justify it so we can truly rank these roads to know what we need to break down totally, restart over with, and repair them, which is not cheap.
And so Precinct 4, for those of you that don't understand that Precinct 4 is, for the most part, everything north of 90 in Dayton, with the exception of 1413, and a very small area in town that, well, we don't get our roads maintained by the county anyway. Most of it will be everything north of 90, everything going into Kennebec, and then come up and out into Tarkington, which is something that's been in more recent years after the last redistricting. Yep, and so priority roads, that's, I know folks will say, hey, I live in Eastgate on Wolf Island Road and it's a mess. And it's a mess, but there's some folks in Tarkington that say, but live on a road that's a mess too. And so that's one of the things I think that, and I just, for whoever gets this job, that's something you're going to have to combat, is folks understanding it's a spread out area.
Well,
and,
to help combat that too, we have to have some transparency through this. Mm-hmm. We need to be talking to these people. We need to be putting social media posts out, having, quarterly coffee with a candidate type things, mm-hmm. and make sure that they know what our plans are and what we're tracking to do.
So that's a good question. And I guess would you pledge that social media has become important, and using that to communicate with the community, and so. Well, let's talk about budgets and property taxes, which there's a lot of staunch conservatives out there listening to this right now saying, grill them on, I don't know what where are you on property taxes? You're a taxpayer. You're a resident. Mm-hmm.
Personally, I'd like to see property taxes go away. Let's do a sales tax. Add a percentage or two to the sales tax. I hadn't done the math. I think it's somewhere 2 to 3% on the sales tax. And that we could do away with property taxes, which mm-hmm. that's way above anything that we can do as mm-hmm. a county. That'll have to come from the state. But right now, at our current tax rate, I think we're maintaining. It's not optimal by no means, mm-hmm. but it's hard enough for somebody to own a home, especially on a fixed income, retirement mm-hmm. age person. Yeah, it's locked in, mm-hmm. but it's still if you get bumped up. That's right. Yep. That's right. It's still beating on them pretty heavily.
So. But one way to deal with property taxes and budgets is economic development, which is let's talk about the biggest change of being a county commissioner in Liberty County in the last forever. 20 years ago, we were talking tax abatements and things, yes. But it's a smaller rate.
Sure,
it's a lot smaller growth. Now it's coming. Now it's here, and that's so. There's a bigger role. This is it was your road and bridge commissioner, right? Yes. Now it's
county administration mm-hmm. to bringing businesses in. Tax abatements are vital.
The hope. I know a lot of folks. One of the things I know you've seen it, but you see it on social media. I laugh. They go, well, why are they building this? County doesn't control your property, right? And that is one of the things that's different between a county and a city, in great part, is there's a lot more control by a city.
The city can zone.
But at the same time, standards can be improved. And the county has, yes. the ability to do some of that.
Improve it and make sure that they're followed. That's the biggest thing. We have a lot of stuff in place that we have nobody watching to verify that these things are followed.
Mm-hmm. Development and growth, building codes mm-hmm. is where we are now, and that is the big thing. What experience do you have to sit down and look at, let's put a plan together going forward, what we're going to do, because the growth's coming, the traffic is coming, obviously.
Sure.
Where are we going to put these? Because we got to find other ways for the folks to drive around.
We definitely have to find a way for them. And I have some background in that. I worked in industrial plants for 20 years, project management, planning, scheduling type things. And that's stuff that me as a candidate, I have that vision. I can look ahead and try to expect things, but yeah, we've got to work with the cities and we need to work with the state to get some bypasses, some traffic easement throughout town, throughout your major crowded area, your pinch points.
And yes, folks, there's going to be an overpass at the Dayton train.
Yes.
That's something folks are still asking when they're going to do that. Well, that's what they're starting to work on now,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
And that right there was done through funds that you got from HGAC, the county, specifically the county judge,
Yeah.
Jay Knight, I think, had a lot to do with that.
Yes, he did.
And and that's an important growth tool, which you've already mentioned. Reaching out, trying to find funds that are available out there.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, there's funds out there. You just have to know where to find them and dig for them. Some of the road funds are a little harder to find. Some of the drainage funds aren't quite as bad. But
what will you bring to the job that's not there now or has not been there? That's been either lacking or just hasn't, or just a new way of thinking.
well, I guess background to me, I'm in the equipment business now. There's pretty much not a piece of equipment on that yard I can't run, know the limits of, things like that, which I think helps running the barn itself. Which the commissioner job, the way I look at it, is kind of a two-parted job. You have the roads and bridges, you have the barn, and you have the county business. I have the background of the county business as well, running jobs, running projects, dealing with a lot of legal stuff, financial issues, line iteming budgets. Done a lot of developing budgets through my years managing work. But on the other hand, grew up rural, grew up on a farm in the ag industry. I know how to build roads, I know how to move water, things like that I can really help with.
All right. So we've got an incumbent right now. He was appointed. Why you, not him? I mean, is there?
Judge's selection, that's for the appointment part of it. I don't know from that standpoint. That's
Now, for you to the voters, though, why you, not him?
To the voters, well, I do have that more the hands-on experience. I, like I said, spent a lot of years with my hands running equipment, building roads, draining water. Growing up in the farming industry, it's all about moving water in this part of the world. This country's flat. We've got to be able to move water around to keep from drowning crops, flooding things. I've got that background, truly have that background. Like I said, on the other side, I have the plant background and that industrial background too, just like he does, which gets us more into the county side of things.
All right, back to development, but it's a different kind of development. Dayton, we see the business development, we see neighborhoods that are coming, and there's other neighborhoods obviously coming to Liberty County, and that's the one I'm getting to.
Yes.
Colony Ridge. What are your thoughts on Colony Ridge going forward? What can you do? What can be done?
It's hard to say because I haven't spent a lot of time. I've rode around it once, I think, just to kind of look. And it comes back to the same thing. We got to make sure our standards are adhered to. We can't stop who he sells property to. We want his properties to sell. We want the base. Just need to make sure that everything's done above the board and correctly, and that our standards that we've asked for our developers to adhere to is adhered to.
Right. And I bring the Colony Ridge up because, again, we go back to there's the administrative side of this job,
Sure.
and you will impact
100%.
that area. You'll impact Hull and Dayzetta and Hardin.
And there's a lot of resources right now in Colony Ridge with Sheriff's Department, Sheriff's Office resources and things like that.
Absolutely. What are your goals if elected?
My goals are to try to get our roads better than what they are currently. I've not ever rode in a precinct, but I've rode a pretty darn good representative of it. I don't think there's a subdivision I haven't hit and at least made a circle around just to look at the state of overall general state of the roads. With that said, none of this happens immediately.
Right.
It takes time. I understand, that I drove through the same pothole for 3 years. We're going to try to alleviate some of that and prevent flooding. With 99 coming in, we haven't had a catastrophic rain.
That is true.
And that's going to affect the whole county, not just the southern part of the county, because everything has to come back down towards the river and towards the bay. We've got to make sure that, I know we have a drainage plan coming. That's highly interesting to me. I want to see what it says, after we established all the benchmarks and everything. Try to keep everything from flooding.
Absolutely.
We had a big levee built on the west end of the county.
Right. A jail, we're still needing a jail to get built. Looks like it's moving forward a little bit. But that is just one, I think one area, right? We're going to probably need better service centers around the county. We're probably going to, well, I mean, we know probably to it. That thing across the street is not big enough to facilitate everything in the county. And that's something you're going to have to look
That's something we're going to have to look at going forward. It's currently, like I said, it's not big enough. We got little satellite buildings everywhere, all over the city of Liberty.
That is true. Well, anything else you want to share with the voters?
Not off the top of my head, really. It's like I said, I've lived here my whole life. I'm watching the growth taking place. I want to try to help manage some of it. I got a 6-year-old boy that's going to be living here hopefully for a long time as well. Hopefully he continues to farm and keep the ag way of life, as much as we can. Especially like where I live on the west end of the county, southwest end of the county, with 99 coming, I think we're going to see a lot of commercial growth.
Absolutely, not far from you.
Yeah,
not far from you at all.
Yeah.
That intersection, it's already a nightmare. Let's be honest with ourselves. The stop sign that never ends.
Yeah, I have to hit the shoulder of the road to turn into my house at times.
Absolutely right, and and that's and TxDOT I think was supposed to be addressing it. Hopefully they are addressing it at some time in the near future with a plan to move traffic through there. But that's only going to get busier as it grows, and as development comes. And I think that's a big thing that's going to have to be handled.
Everything's busier, and it's not just the southern part and southwest part of the county. It's northern county. The whole county is as a whole. I would really like to know what the census data. I'm really interested in seeing what is it, the 30 census data to see the amount of change that we truly had, because we really don't know.
We don't know because there was not an accurate census taken in 2020.
No, we really don't know the numbers that are coming in.
Yeah, it wasn't. We don't know the middle. I think it was off, probably by thousands.
Right. So. Well, and they keep breaking precincts up by population. At the end of the day, I may only have 3,000 acres of precinct.
You may be. That's true. That's true. Precinct 2 is large, folks. If you haven't looked at it on a map,
very much so.
One's pretty big, but 2 is really big.
But that's something too. I know.
Or everybody's going to start out of the same center point, right?
Yeah.
So
everything's broke up by population now, but at some point we've got to maybe get creative on the way that we balance some of our budget that we do divide it every year. Whether it's amount of traffic traveling roads or something. It's just something that us as a court need to discuss and have some conversation around.
Yeah, because some of the issues you're facing now that are hitting you in Dayton or precinct 3 and 4 with the growth, those will hit these areas as they grow and as we grow.
100%.
And so you're going to have to hopefully get that combated and before this becomes an issue later on down the road.
Yeah, and I think some of this stuff, like some of the road repairs and stuff, if developers pulling bonds, we need to make sure we're exercising those bonds for repairing roads. If they're beating our roads out, over time with concrete trucks, we need to make sure that those are taken care of.
Well, all right. Well, this is Brant Elliott. He is number 3 on the ballot for Precinct 4 Commissioner, Liberty County. Just some dates. Early voting begins February the 17th. Election day is Tuesday, March the 3rd. The voters registration deadline, if you are not registered to vote yet, is February the 2nd. And we will have candidate forums on Wednesday, February 11th for Congressional District 9 and Senate District 3. That's at 6 p.m. at the Dayton Community Center. And the following night, also at 6 p.m. at the Dayton Community Center, we will hear from all the candidates for Precinct 4, 2, and the 75th and 253rd State District Judge races. I'm Russell Payne. This is Brant Elliott. We wish you luck, and we'll see you on our next Candidate Spotlight.